What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about the things I've came to the realization about life, or it's not life in general. I'm not saying that I'm completely right or wrong, but I was thinking of something, so I'm gonna talk about um I'm gonna talk about spiritual topics. Now, these are my beliefs. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but these are my beliefs. When it comes to my belief systems, I consider myself to have an open mind, but also believe that there's like an evil energy and an evil force, and there's also a good divine energy, kind of like religious beliefs. Like some people may refer to the devil or God and stuff like that. So I guess I kind of have that type of beliefs. I'm not saying the actual devil or actual God is real, this and that. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But why I'm saying is I feel like there's an evil force or some type of evil presence that tends to like easily influence a lot of people, or just the nature of this realm. It has so much toxicity and negative energy, right? Some people like to call it the devil, this and that. Me, I like to call it the devil because one, it's just a label that it's programming. So like, I'm comfortable with that label saying. So if, for example, if I see someone attacking me, or just if I see some evil shit taking place, my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, that's part of the devil doing this shit, or like that's some evil shit going on. So that's how I like to label shit pretty much. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but hopefully this makes sense. So what I'm saying is this: um, there's this YouTube channel I was watching. I forgot what it's called, but like I just found her channel like a couple of days ago, and I'm really drawn to it because it really opened up my eyes on a lot of things that have happened throughout my whole life, right? So if you're familiar with my channel, I always talk about like just how much I'm just so fed up dealing with like people who aren't at my level, like when it comes to like emotional intelligence, or people who always give me a hard time unnecessarily. I've dealt with, like, I cut off a lot of people. I had to cut off and distance myself from like toxic family members who will like physically and mentally attack me. I had to cut off from like people I keep meeting with that will always cause me like an inconvenience, or they'll cause some type of drama and stress into my life. I gotten money stolen. I've gotten like people who betrayed me, who like lied to me, ghosted me. So I've experienced all that shit, right? So, and like growing up is like I struggle with this today too. It's like I have a hard time of like letting shit go. It's not because I'm naturally a bitter person. It's not that. It's that when you experience a lot of attacks and a lot of like bad behaviors from people, eventually all that shit's gonna build up, and it's gonna be harder for you to kind of move on from that situation. Especially when like you're constantly getting attacked from people and they keep doing you wrong, and like you never get, and you just never see them get uh their karma, or like you just never see you get their justice. You know what I'm saying? So like, like there are times where I had to book tarot readings. There are times where like I had to pray and pray and pray. I had to ask life and God, like, why me? Like, why am I experiencing this? How come people aren't getting, like, how come I'm not getting my justice? Like at times I'll question myself, like, did I deserve this, or like have I done something in past lives? So I did a lot of soul searching, and I questioned a lot of things, to the point where like I sacrificed money just so I could book tarot readings to see what was going on spiritually. So I've learned a lot when it comes to spirituality, but that specific channel, it really opened my eyes. I just found her channel a couple of days ago, and she mentioned how like something like pretty much the devil or like negative entities, they like to use people's bodies to like kind of attack you because um I really recommend her channel. I forgot her name, but I'm gonna post channel. I always post on my community, and I'm gonna post on my comments. But she goes like she knows what she's talking about, because like I like how she explains it, because she mentions how like sometimes the devil, or like the negative entities, they like to inhabit in people's bodies so they can attack you, right? And like the purpose of it, the reason why they attack you is because obviously, I don't mean it's an egotistical way, but like the more genuine you are, the more like just the more like innocent, like the more lights you have on you, the more you're gonna get attacked. This is why people who are like into spirituality, or people who make spiritual videos, they always talk about how like growing up they always get like attacked a lot heavily, even throughout their whole lives. And I don't worry, not just YouTubers, but like there are a lot of people in this world who gets attacked a lot. This is why like people aren't The reason why a lot of people are just so toxic, like a lot of people do the things they do, is because of the devil, because of negative entities. Again, I'm not saying the label the devil is the right or wrong term, but I'm just gonna use it as an example because I'm so comfortable using the label devil, right? So I'm gonna use that throughout this whole video. So the devil likes to use people to attack other people, and then they'll cause a lot of suffering because the devil feeds off of that shit, right? And that's why a lot of people are the way they are. Even like unconscious people who have no like spiritual knowledge, people who are like at your level emotionally. And I know people may say, "Oh, that sounds narcissistic because everyone's unique, this and that." I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is like we're like you meet someone and like for some reason they'll cause some type of drama or like they'll cause some type of bullshit into your life. Not in a way where like they're triggering you so you could look at yourself so you can heal, but more so they'll add on to the pain and bullshit into your life for no reason, right? I'm talking about these types of people, and the devil is tricky. So the devil's smart. So like the devil, it's called the devil for a reason because the devil is very not powerful, but like devil is like very like the devil has a lot of influence with people, right? Is why it's called a devil. God, the Almighty God, the Almighty Devil. You know what I'm saying? They're both powerful beings according to religious scriptures, pretty much. So it makes sense that since the devil has so much influence, the devil will use people different ways to attack your psyche in different ways. So I feel like the devil kind of knows people's triggers and shit. So the devil will use people's vessels to kind of fuck with you in a way like that. And again, I'm not saying we're like if you have trauma and you're not unhealed, like people are just simply trying to test you so you could like heal and overcome your trauma. Like they're not purposely trying to like hurt you. I'm not saying that. Like I'm saying like where the devil is using people to attack you. I hope that makes sense, because there are instances where I believe people are put into your life so they can heal you, and that's what I've learned. I find that to be true because I've experienced that. Where like at times I do believe where like if you have so much trauma and anger and pain, God will kind of put you, or God will put you in a situation where like you're in a romantic relationship or you met someone specific, and you two just trigger each other. Not because you two aren't trying to hurt each other, but more so you two can help heal each other. That's what I'm talking about. But that's not. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where the devil just tries to fuck with you in a way. And I've experienced that a lot growing up, especially as I get older. It's getting more intense. But like with family members, with people I've dealt with, you know, the workplaces and that. Like always, like no, it's like no matter which workplace I'll go to, always like people always do some shit where like it'll rub me off the wrong way, and like I'm not out there looking for fights or like I'm not the type of person where like I'm very reactive. I'm actually a very like cool, calm, and laid back person. I'm like I'm not the type of person to react like that, but like there are instances where like people have done so much shit, and I've let it slide for over periods of time, and I got fed up. Then I'll just react in a way where I'm defending myself. So like it gets tricky. This is why the devil is tricky. The devil is very very tricky. So, but what I love about the channel I found, she goes into detail how like the devil, she breaks down like how like the devil, it wants your energy, the best way, in my opinion, and based on what I'm learning from her, best way to navigate through life is to just focus on yourself. Don't give your energy to people who aren't at your level. And she knows what I'm talking about because there are other channels I watch from people who are like very like who are very successful, who knows about psychology. Like they always talk about the same thing. They always say not giving energy to people who aren't at your level. This is like being non-reactive. I'm not saying where someone would do something then to not feel triggered, because obviously we're human, so we're gonna feel triggered. We're gonna feel some type of way because we have a nervous system, we have a mind, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying like where people just not giving the energy. Like if someone says slick comments to you, then it's gonna ruin your peace of mind, just so you could talk back to this person. Then it's gonna end bad, and then it's gonna be more drama. It's gonna lead to fights. So it's like it's shit like that. So, but this is what I'm getting at. The devil is very tricky. So the devil will find ways to kind of take your energy. But I feel like it's so hard because in this world we're living in, it's like I'm not saying we don't have control, but I am saying is that like it's so hard to be like to know what you want for yourself, because in order for you to live the type of life you want, you have to submit to the system. I'm not saying everything in this world is evil. I feel like there are things in this life where when we incarnated here, certain things are meant for us. So like for example, like I'm gonna use an example. So let's say you love working you let me use an example. So let's say you love graphic design, right? Let's say you're a graphic designer, right? And you love it so much that that's your passion. But in this system, since it's controlled by money, since you're forced to be overworked and underpaid, but let's say they have a graphic design, right? But you still do it. So, but it's still part of the system because everything rules. The system. We need to participate in the system for us to get ahead, right? Whether you want to create your own system or not. But let's say you like graphic design. So, but yet the system offers graphic designs, jobs, careers and shit. So you decide to submit to the system because we all have no choice to do so. I'm not saying that. So I feel like as human beings there are like some type of passions or some type of things that are good for us that spirit or life will allow us to partake in order for us to tolerate this corrupt world, right? If that makes sense. So let's say you love graphic design, right? That's your passion. Well, this corrupt system offers graphic design. So maybe your life passion is your life mission is to pursue graphic design in this corrupt system just so you could keep working and pursuing your passions. Eventually you'll build up a lot of money so you could create your own system one day, or you could do something that's innovative where like, you can help change the world. That's what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at. So it gets tricky because like in this system I feel like basically what I'm saying is this: it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to not focus on yourself. It's so easy to get sideswiped. This is why it's important to listen to your intuition and to like have faith. I know some people aren't religious. I'm not saying there's right or wrong. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but this is why it's always important to have like a tunnel vision or to have some type of faith. Because like this is why people say this realm is an illusion. It is an illusion because the devil likes to use people to attack you and shit. And looking from the outside of this realm, we're being controlled by money. It's like you can't do what you want to do. But I feel like the trick to navigating through this realm is focusing on yourself, not giving energy to people who are attacking you, and just to know what you want. Do a lot of shadow work, you know. And shout out to the other channels I was watching because I forgot her name, but like she was mentioning, she knows how to break this shit down, and that's what she mentioned. She mentioned that like you have to focus on yourself. You can't give your energy to people who are attacking you because the devil wants your energy. The devil wants you to react. The devil laughs at you. The devil jokes about you when you're reacting, when you're giving energy to people who aren't even at your level. Think about it. And that happens to a lot of people. That always happens to me. When you focus on yourself, when you mind your own business, but all of a sudden you get attacked, it's because people are projecting, because they don't know their self. People have a false identity. And I understand it's part of the human ego, so we all have it to a certain extent. But what I am saying is this: people who don't know themselves, and not only that, but people who don't know themselves, they're traumatized and they've been attacked and growing up when they're like young, and obviously growing up, and like they don't know where to place all that trauma and baggage. And since they don't know themselves, they create even a more false identity. So they use it to attack you, this and that, and it's a constant cycle where everyone experiences this shit, right? So basically, like it's a lot to explain. I really recommend watching her channel. It works for me. That actually helps me a lot. She knows how to break this shit down, because I've struggled this my whole life. Where like I feel like I kind of felt alone, bro. I felt like like I'm always getting attacked by people and just disrespected out of nowhere. And I don't mean this in a narcissistic, egotistical way. Obviously, there are times where like, because we need people, we need to people. We're all puzzles to each other. So like, someone's strengths may be your weakness, and someone's weakness may be your strength. So we all need each other for help. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is like all of a sudden you're just being attacked by people, and like you're not getting your karma or like your justice. And I struggle with that a lot. You know, I used to hold like a lot of bitterness. I like sleepless nights and shit like that. So I'm like, what the hell? So it made sense when I was watching the channel. She mentioned that like the devil, like their main goal is to deceive you and shit. This is why people talk about deception. The devil is good at deceiving. It's true, because when they attack you and shit like that, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like when they attack you, they want you to give your the energy. So when people attack you and you don't see them get their justice, you give them energy because it's causing you to have sleepless nights, this and that. And it gets tricky because, like I said, the human body is receptive to like pain and trigger and shit, right? The human has a nervous system and shit like that. So like but it gets tricky because like this is why we have Mercury retrogrades and all these full moon cycles. The purpose of these full moon cycles and these Mercury retrogrades is for us to heal, right? So we can heal our trauma, so we can heal our baggage and just shit like that, right? So that's what I'm getting at. But it gets hard though, because like, so not only the devil is using like people who are trying to attack you, and your goal is to stay focused on yourself. But not only that, when we get attacked, we're naturally going to feel pain. Even if we try to ignore it, because there are times, even me, we're forced to be around people we don't want to be in, such as family members, such as like coworkers, and just shit like that, right? And they're just so toxic, so like you're forced to be around them. It is okay to ignore them and guard your energy, so you can know. And this is why it's important to know itself. You have to do a lot of shadow work to know more about yourself. But it just sucks how like you have to do all that just so you can learn how to navigate through this world in one piece. I feel like there's no peace because this realm is just so fucking toxic, which is understandable. I feel like this is why life is like a test in a way. I mean, life is a test. It makes sense because like we're being controlled by money and like people are constantly always attacking each other. So I feel like one of not the main parts of life, but one of the keys in his life is to kind of see through the bullshit, to see through the illusion. This is why spirituality is so important because when you study spirituality, spirituality is life. Spirituality is you. So spirituality is naturally comes into people, right? But people make experience that shit in different ways through religious beliefs. I could be wrong, dude. Like religious beliefs, but more so spirituality. I don't know. The meaning of spirituality is more so like spirituality is like knowing self and doing the healing work so you can get in tune with yourself. Pretty much, that's what spirituality is. Pretty much, there's a lot more context to it, but you get what I'm saying. So, but where was I getting at? But yeah, but I feel like I think that's one of the key points of life is to see through the illusion of life, because this is why people in the spiritual community say life is an illusion or like everything's deceptive. Don't ever believe what you see. And that makes sense. It's just like we have news and shit. Don't believe everything you hear on the news and shit. So don't look at life for the way it is. I mean, yes, look at life the way it is, but don't let it deceive you. See through the bullshit. See through the illusion. You know what I'm saying? And there's when people attack you. People are trying to throw shade at you, or like people are stealing money from you, or you got deceived, or you got tricked. Just I'm not saying ignore it. I'm saying get mad. Like I'm not saying like when someone is attacking you, not to defend yourself. Obviously, there are people where they at times they will threaten you. They will lay hands on you. And in this world and people are just so toxic, there are times where like we have to cut certain people out. We do have to defend ourselves. We do have to speak up, and unfortunately, that does require our energy. But I feel like it could be a good thing too. This is where you get your like righteous anger, or like your just, or you know what I'm saying. So it gets tricky, but just that's why people say just choose and pick your battles wisely. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's petty, just ignore it. But it gets tricky. This is why the devil's tricky. The devil is very fucking tricky, and I feel like and she mentioned this too on her. Actually, she mentioned like the devil is so easy at like kind of like finding ways to attack your triggers. So it could like they're always trying to find a way for you to revert back to give them energy. I feel like no matter what, we're all gonna experience that, or like we're all victims to it. Is how it is. Especially with these Mercury retrogrades and these full moon cycles, the purpose of it is to heal and to do shadow work. So not only we're being attacked by the devil, but even though we do ignore and stay in our own lane, we still got to do the healing work because we're in a human body. The human body is always healing and evolving. The human body always feels pain. So no matter what, you're always gonna experience some type of like inconvenience or some type of like this bullshit, pretty much. But this is why it's always important just to not take life personally. Just take life seriously, but don't take life personally. This is why life is short. This is why like there's afterlife and reincarnation and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole spiritual side to it. So I recommend watching the channel. I mean, at least for me. I'm not saying do this or that, but your channels, to me, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense on why I've experienced the things I've experienced, and now it's like ever since I watched the channel, it's a lot easier for me to navigate through life because all the things I've experienced, it made sense. Like people that are attacking me, and I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm not saying I hope I'm not coming across as egotistical. I'm not saying, oh, because me and other people we have a strong light and then people are attacking us because of the devil. No, everyone has a light. Everyone has potential in this world. Everyone gets attacked by the devil. This is why people act. This is why a lot of people are the way they are because they're victims of being attacked by the fucking devil, right? So I don't know, man. But and this whole video is about perspectives. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just adopting my labels and my programming and my beliefs that will help me navigate through this life through programming myself. If that makes sense. My programming is this, and I never thought I'd get to it. Is the fact that I view attacks as the devil attacking me, and for me trying to get their energy. For some reason that works with me. So with you, it might be different. For you, it might be like, um, people are like new spirits. People are like immature spirits, so they do stupid shit, and you're like an older spirit and you don't tolerate that shit. So it's just people have different beliefs. But what works for me is this: whenever I'm getting attacked or I experience a negative situation, I just view it as the devil trying to attack me and shit, right? And that's the case, and that means I'm in the right path, and I know what the devil's trying to do, and it's gonna force me to focus on myself even more. And once I focus on myself even more, I'm able to do the healing work, to know more about myself, and to get the things I want out of life, and I can navigate in this world in one piece, pretty much. But I don't know, man. And life is not perfect, so we're all gonna have slip ups. We're all gonna, you know, do the things that we felt like we should have done better. But you know what I'm saying. So I really recommend her channel. Like, she's speaking facts. Really good channel. Like, this shit makes sense. It's crazy how this shit like really makes sense when it comes to my life and shit. So but yeah, but it gets tricky though, cause like in this world is so hard. Like, I feel like this world is so easy to deceive you, because from the outside perspective, it's like, and it's a fact too. It's the outside perspective. But yes, we're being controlled by money. Yes, we have no choice but to submit to the system. We have no choice but to like kind of be a slave and to experience all the toxicity and evilness in this world, right? Because a lot of people are victims of being attacked by the devil. So living in this world, you're going to be attacked by people, because they're also victims of being attacked by the devil. The devil influences these people through their false selves. They don't know about themselves because of this illusionary as matrix, right? So when you focus on yourself, when you're trying to do the right thing, it gets tricky, because it's like there are times where like we have desires, we want things we want, and when we don't get those things, we get pissed off. At least I do, because like me, I always wanted to be in a romantic relationship. I always want to meet like-minded people, but I never experienced that shit, and then that pissed me off, right? So I don't know. So it gets tricky. This is why I view life as a test, pretty much. I feel like I view life as a test. You test your patience, test your faith, your willpower, and your belief systems, I guess. But I don't know, man. I go more into detail, but there's a lot to explain, so it gets tricky. And and this is why I feel like you can't kind of overthink when it comes to life. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes it is okay to like kind of like pinpoint and just see how life, like how it operates, pretty much. This is why people call it the matrix. But it's like the more, it just seems like, I could be wrong, but it seems like the more I know, more like the more I try to dissect life, the more corrupt this shit really is. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. But this is where you get your beliefs from. This is why life is a test. This is why people fall into like religion or spiritual beliefs heavily. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. But what I'm saying is, it was always important to adopt a belief system to where like that helps you navigate through life, because life can be very deceptive, in my opinion, and it can really get you off your track. I feel like part of life is finding your identity, and knowing what you want. This is why people talk about shadow work and knowing more about yourself, because the more you do your shadow work, the more you know more about yourself, the more like you know what you want out of life, and the more you're able to live an abundant life for yourself, right? Despite all the toxicity in this world, right? And a lot of people talk about this in spiritual channels in their own different ways. Not yeah, so I don't know, man, but yeah, but it's crazy how like it makes sense. Like, so for me, so this is why like I feel like the reason why I've been attacked so much is because it's spiritual warfare, man. It's spiritual warfare. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's my own belief system. But I feel like it's spiritual warfare, like where I'm always getting attacked, and like there are times where like I have sleepless nights and shit like that. But ever since I watched that channel, it's making me having more peaceful sleeps. Even though it is annoying, though, it's a good feeling knowing that like, okay, this is the devil trying to attack me and trick me and deceive me, so I could get these people their fucking energy. And so the devil could kind of manipulate, because not only that, because the devil trying to we're trying to turn you into the same people who are attacking you, or if not worse. This is why you see people who just at times lose their shit, or like they make a huge mistake that doesn't cost them their lives. It's because and I feel like I almost fall a victim for this too, because like I've dealt with situations where like people kept doing me wrong, or like I'll experience a certain situation where like I'm not getting desires. And I get so pissed off, and then I'll become bitter, and then I become angry, and it's like I want to spread that hate towards like not towards people, but like I get very angry and vengeful and shit, and I didn't even like that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the devil kind of like will kind of influence someone to turn someone that they're not. Like devil so easy like make someone have so much hate in their heart and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man, but I think that's why it's always important to transmute anger. So even if it does the things people do and just how life in itself is, like it will piss you off, right? It will get you angry. At least for me, there are times where life, how controlled it is, how much you're not free, will piss me off. So like, I use that. I'll kind of transmit the anger to bettering my life, pretty much. But this is why people talk about like even shout out to Chantuan. Chantuan said that like when it comes to like getting the things you want, once you're in the right alignment, you have it. All the things you want, you already have it. You already have the things you want out of life. You just gotta be in the right alignment, and life will work for you. You know what I'm saying? So this, this is what I'm talking about. Like life is an illusion, so you kind of got to see life. You you got to see through the bullshit of it. This is why don't take life seriously, but don't take like life personal. There's a spiritual side to everything, but that's what I'm getting at. All I'm saying is this: like when you're constantly being attacked by people, or like when situations seem so discouraging, just know that it's a negative force trying to influence you to get your energy and to influence you to turn these same people or situations that cause a lot of harm towards you. So it's always important to know more about yourself, to do the shadow work, and to not get caught up into life's illusions. Obviously, see life from a realistic standpoint. Yes, do what you got to do to get the things done. Yes, you have to work. Yes, we're being sucked into this bullshit ass system, but you have to see the spiritual side from it. There are passions in this system that you can partake in, and if you want to create your own system, if you have certain like goals and ambitions, pursue it. But don't let the system deceive you into, you know what I'm saying? Just be careful out there. It gets tricky, but there's always a point to know more about yourself and to do the healing work. And I feel like that comes in naturally. The more you less deceived by life and people and shit. Like the self discovery and the shadow work is gonna come in naturally because it's natural. It's part of life, I guess. But that's all I'm gonna say. Hopefully this video makes sense. Yeah, I'll definitely send the channel. I'll send the channel I'm watching on my comment section. So just check it out and good luck to you. Don't get sideswiped by like stupid people. You know what I'm saying? I know people could like are so draining. They could drain energy, but don't let it get to you. Follow your heart. Focus on your passions. Don't take life seriously. Don't take life personally. Work hard for your goals. Um, do the healing work and just know that you're not alone. And good luck to you. Peace.